What's your example of sexism in everyday life? I used to work at an office where the boss, a lady named Debbie, made all the female workers wear a heavy corduroy vest because, in her words, women don't know how to dress appropriately and it distracts the men. None of the men had to wear vests. None of the women were dressed inappropriately for that matter. She got a visit from human resources about 6 months into that policy and the vests disappeared. How many people will ask if my husband is babysitting or expect me to be available for potty time whenever he takes his girls out? The sheer number of public men's restrooms without changing stations is ridiculous. My husband is my children's father, not their babysitter. Yes, this kills me. I was on my sister's hen party when my daughter was 6 months old. About 3 people that night asked me where my daughter was. I was like, at home with her dad. Likewise, that even a question? My doctor apologized to my husband, not me, for an error in my treatment that put my vagina out of business for a while. I was just sitting there like, my husband hated the guy before, but that solidified it. I immediately switched, you know. It's like he messed with his property or something. WTH. Sorry about ruining your sex hole, bro. What a shithead. Before we rush to judgment, did the doctor offer a replacement loaner for while it was out of commission? People are genuinely surprised when I say that my husband does the ironing. Lol, one of my friends runs an ironing service part-time alongside his actual job because he loves it that much. Yes, he does call himself Ironman before it gets commented. I'm a property manager, and in my line of work we have to deal with a lot of disgruntled home owners. Our staff is split about 50/50 between men and women, and everyone is pretty great at their job. It's not uncommon for someone to contact us completely irate over something trivial, and simply not accept the explanation for the problem and solution from a woman on our team. When they're all out of ideas on how to appease the home owner, a woman on my team can transfer the call to me, a guy, and when I give the exact same explanation my colleague just did, the owner will suddenly accept it and be content. I used to be a manager and a few times I had to put a lower ranking male employee on the phone just so he could convince someone of something so they wouldn't waste my entire day arguing or escalating it ever upward. I work in it and had it happen so much. One time was really fun as I insisted I'd be the one helping them today. They wanted another tech, one of the guys to help me here. I grabbed another woman, to which they asked for a manager. So I brought over the female lead on the floor after letting her know why they seemed to be upset. This wasn't funny to the customer and they wanted the store manager. Oh, what were we to do besides gleefully go over to our store manager and explain to her the conniption this dude was gonna have in a second when she walked up. On other days, when we didn't have the luxury of really annoying one sexist, my coworkers would step in. They may have been in the field longer than I, but they would play really dumb. Wouldn't even answer a yes or no without discussing the issue with me further and reiterating to the customer that they don't know a thing and should have asked a technician with proper training instead. Usually they'd drag this out until they would either give up or concede that a woman can be trained to resolve this issue. My husband and I moved from a north state to a southern state. I came to our new state to find a house and get set up while he stayed in our old state. I called all the utility companies to get our electric, gas and water turned on, and then I visited the insurance agent's office in person to transfer our auto insurance. When the bills started coming in, they were all in my husband's name. My husband, who never spoke to a utility company or met our insurance agent. Just so you don't think this was due to him making more money, having better credit, etc. I made 1.5 times what he did, and my credit score was 50 points higher. All our credit cards list me as the primary and him as the secondary. All of our accounts had been in my name in our northern state. I mentioned it once to a woman at my insurance agent's office and she quietly said, "Honey, you're preaching to the choir." My husband is a primary caregiver for our children right now. I'm the breadwinner. The school calls me. The teacher wants to talk to me. The other parents get antsy when he arranges a play date. I've had people assume that my kids are poorly raised or supervised because of my working hours. I live in a fairly progressive place and it's a bit what the duck on a regular basis. Yes, when they were babies, I stayed home. Now, I'm the one working more, and he is home more often than I am. We are equals and partners. He doesn't need to ask me what brand of snacks I feed the kids, or whatever the issue is, because he is a competent adult and parent. I'm not a bad mom for working the way I do to provide for my kids. Edit. Thanks teacher and school admins. He is listed as primary contact. In an emergency or robber calls situation, he is called first. The system in place for that is okay. The problem arises with the little less urgent stuff. Costumes for the school play, bake sale, birthday treats. I get that. It varies by year. Some teachers are better about this than others. Some schools are also better about this than others. Edit 2. Wow. I'm so touched and also pissed off that this resonated with so many of you. Try to plan a wedding as a groom. Literally no one will talk to you without the bride present. Sometimes they won't even talk to you if she is present. Edit. The number of people defending or making excuses for the sexist shit from the wedding industry in a thread about sexism is amazing. I'm weekend bar staff at a pub. The current manager and the previous two were all women. The customers won't listen if they say or said anything. Instead looking at me, I just say, she's in charge, don't look at me, and it really confuses them. I'll admit, I probably take more of a no-nonsense approach to unruly customers than they did, and being sometimes the only guy on the bar I'm looked to throw someone out, maybe that's where it comes from. It annoyed the hell out of the last two when they weren't listened to, and I'm sure it annoys the current manager too, so I try my best to make sure I make customers aware that, just because I'm the only, or sometimes one of two blokes on the bar, that doesn't mean I'm in charge. Not having baby changing stations in men's bathrooms. Like what if they're out with the baby and the baby needs a diaper change suddenly and their wife isn't with them? Edit. I now know the definition of RIP in barks. We are allowed to wear shorts. If they cover our knees at my job, the female workers immediately get a warning. If they wear shorts that are a little bit higher than their knees, but I know multiple men who wear shorts that barely cover their thighs. One girl almost got sent home because she had a hole in her pants on her knee. She got to stay because the hole had got there because of her job. Being a divorced dad, I see this all the time. I have shared parenting, which means everything should be equal, and I see my kids half the time. I'm lucky and the mom lets me have them this much. In court I only got every other weekend, and so she can take this away anytime she wants. If I want to take my kids to the doctors, I go to the docs with my divorce papers telling them I have full legal rights to do so. Wait a minute sir, we have to call the mom to make sure she's okay with it. HMM thanks. Oh, and I have to do this every year to get back on the approved list. The kids' teachers only want to talk to the mom and give her all the info, but not me. Forms etc only going home when the mom has them, including report cards. Even though she's too lazy to even make it to the parent-teacher conferences, and I'm often there alone. I have to specifically call the office to get report cards photocopied and then pick them up. To get on the notifications of snow days and the like, I've had to request at least 10 plus times. Same with all other forms of communications. Same thing happened at their last school too. I've got many more examples of this. My mates always tip if it's a waitress serving us, but almost never if it's a waiter. They only tip dudes if they go above and beyond the call of duty. PS. To avoid any misunderstandings, I don't live in the US. Tipping is totally optional here, especially for small things like coffee. Worked as a bartender in England, tipping very much optional, not expected. Can confirm, damn hard for a man to make a tip over there without pledging himself into customer serfdom. Women though, could still rake it in. Thanks for watching the video buddy. Subscribe for more high quality videos. Like and comment your favorite story.